After 2 long years, TaleWorlds has finally announced their largest update and expansion to date. Bannerlord's first ever DLC is War Sales and will be available on June 17th of this year, but we'll also be getting a ton of base game content for free. If you saw my previous video, I will admit I was completely wrong about what they had planned for us, and they definitely exceeded my expectations. But today, I wanted to take a look at the forum that they had posted on their website and go over all of the new content that we will be getting in the new update and DLC. With the new War Sales DLC, we'll be getting a brand new faction called the Nords, which is a brand new Viking-inspired faction, along with naval battles and custom ships, featuring realistic water and wind physics. The map Calradia is also being expanded in the northern region with a settled island where it is home to jagged peaks, vast taigas, and freezing fjords. With this DLC, TaleWorlds has announced that we will be getting a realistic ship-to-ship combat, meaning we can board enemies from multiple points, use our ships as battling rams, or even attack them from afar. I'm really curious as to how all this is going to look animation-wise, as obviously all we saw was a cinematic trailer, but to actually see how it looks in the base game, because the base game itself is still really glitchy in some areas. They go on to say that captains may seize opportunities by boarding already engaged ships, prepare for an incoming attack by creating a floating fortress, or take a risk to tie down several enemies at once, giving their allies an edge elsewhere. We can even throw men off board, shatter oars to try and sink the ship, and well-placed arrows and ballista fire can tear through sails, further crippling the ship's mobility. Sounds like we're going to be able to do a lot when it comes to naval battles, and the quote, "giving their allies an edge elsewhere," makes me think that we will be commanding multiple ships at once. I'm really excited to see how this is all going to look and try it out for myself. We will be able to choose from 18 different ship types modeled after historical vessels, each with unique handling shaped by the wind and wave physics. I also noticed that each faction's ships have a unique ship model, making me believe that each faction's fleet could possibly have their own unique bonuses to them as well. Maybe like Britannia's ranged attack does extra damage to enemy ships, or Kazate's ships are faster, etc, etc. They even go on to say that we can customize our ships with siege engines, cargo holds, sails, rams, and even more. And shipyards will be able to stock vessels based on their town culture and development, and we can also acquire new ships by capturing them. My brain cannot stop thinking about Assassin's Creed Black Flag when reading about the ship's customization, and if it even has half of the features that that game had, I cannot wait. And to familiarize new and long-time players to the naval combat, we will be getting a brand new questline with new scripted missions, cinematics, and classic-style gameplay, but this last sentence, learn how to command your ship, then take it into battle against a pirate confederacy, making me believe we will also be getting a new pirate faction, whether they are just bandits or small clans. Seeing independent fleets roaming and raiding around the map would be super cool to see. Along with all the new combat and custom ships, they're also adding new soundtracks, rich soundscapes with piercing winds, crashing waves, and creaking ship sound effects. The dynamic weather system was also refined to include storms and trade winds. Ships will move faster when riding the gales, but attrition can unravel the best laid plans. What I think this last part means is that the faster you travel, the more wear and tear your ships and troops will take, and then when it's finally time for battle, your troops and ships might not be as effective as usual. I think it's a super cool concept, probably keeping you from running all over the map in a blink of an eye. But my favorite part, and I think the most important part of this DLC, is that they say that the naval system and the Nord faction will reshape trade, warfare, and diplomacy. Please TaleWorlds, tell me that this is what I think it is, and you're finally going to fix diplomacy in this game. I'm begging you, please. Also, ship production and new trade goods add regional variety, meaning coastal towns may grow rich if they can fend off pirates and naval invasions. And sieges have been adapted to naval warfare, as we will have to bring along a fleet to set up a blockade if we want to stop supplies and reinforcements arriving overseas. This to me is a huge win for us. I would love if I had to actually worry about how long the siege might take, because they might be reinforced by a large fleet of troops at any given moment, because at the current state, the sieges just feel so empty and not very dangerous come mid-late game. But not only did they announce a DLC, but they also have some huge plans for the base game as well, and I don't know what I'm excited for the most, the DLC or just the base game update itself. Starting off, they said they want to improve the trait system so that players will be able to better develop their characters, and will be adding random events during our playthroughs to add a new avenue of character development and add further life into the world. Town and castle projects will also undergo some changes that will improve the balance between projects and impactful effects, and those with limited or situational effects, and add new types. And that this should allow for better control over management over our fiefs. And they also made it easier to communicate to nearby enemies by introducing a parlay feature so that we can enter a conversation with our enemies without having to go straight into battle. They also announced that a character import and export feature is in the works that will allow us to adjust things like perks, skills, attributes, etc. by editing the character file in the game saves folder and importing it via the console cheat window. Probably one of the coolest additions they have coming to the base game, and one feature that I'm most excited about is the introduction of a robust stealth system that will allow us to infiltrate dungeons and hideouts, rescue prisoners, and dispatch enemies without ever raising alarms. The enemy AI can now detect sound and motion, becoming alerted by your actions through progressive levels of cautiousness. To succeed, we'll have to not only carefully consider our movement and positions, but also the environment around us. We will have to utilize the elevation and darkness of the night, along with natural cover to achieve our goal. And it goes even further, saying that we can now use stealth tactics like distractions and concealing corpses, which is something I thought TaleWorlds would never add. It goes even further to say that our gear and roguery skill will have an impact on how well we will be able to do all of these new additions. Again, my brain just keeps going back to Assassin's Creed with all of these new features, and I can't wait to see how the new stealth system works. And in my opinion, one of the most important changes to the base game that they have made is the addition of a new weapon type, slings, and more importantly, refining spear bracing to have better targeting, smoother animations, and having spearmen actually use their spears by default, making them more effective against cavalry charges. Who would have thought that making spearmen actually use their spears and brace would be a good idea? Oh, I know, everyone. But everything aside, I think it is a major fix and update, and I'm so glad that they chose to work on this. And last but not least, a variety of AI enhancements are also being added, such as more accurate usage of melee weapons, improved pathfinding and reduced zigzag movements for mounted AI, improved ranged AI accuracy against moving targets, and increased firing rate through better avoidance of friendly troops. And beyond that, they're addressing various siege AI issues, preventing archers with a targeted order from getting too close to the enemy, and even more. Bannerlord's AI is probably one of their biggest issues, and I'm so glad that they decided to try and fix some of its issues, and hopefully this results in a better gameplay and overall a better experience all around. But I wanted to say a couple things about what I had noticed when first reading about the new update that I haven't seen anyone else talk about. One is that TaleWorlds has definitely been listening to us, they just haven't been replying via the 2 years of no communication, because a lot of these additions are straight up mods that you can go download right now on Nexus. For example, we have perfect fire arrows in the cinematic shot, random events straight out of the random events mod have been added to create a more unique playthrough, RBM and RBM spear fix making combat and spearmen better and actually useful, and 4BA when it comes to rescuing prisoners and attacking hideouts. I think it's super cool to see that the community has had such a large impact on the actual game itself that they are actually implementing some of those mods into the base game. What I'm probably looking forward to the most, and I also haven't seen anyone else talk about it, is how this is going to affect the major total conversion mods like Realm of Thrones, Banner Kings, and Realms Forgotten. With the new naval combat and stealth system, I think this could be a major game changer for all of these mods, and I can't wait to see how these teams implement the new mechanics into their own mods. Again, I'm really excited for this new update and DLC and what the community is going to be able to do with all these new additions, and I can't wait to try this all out for myself. They definitely exceeded all of my expectations with this new announcement, and I hope this is just the beginning and not the end of major updates or DLCs for Bannerlord. But I want to know all of your thoughts on the new announcement. What are you most excited to see or try out for yourself, or what were you most disappointed about that they didn't add or fix? I think overall this is a major step in the right direction for Bannerlord, as I think most of us thought that this game had been abandoned. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.